Greetings, Algebra 2 students. This is Dr. Heron talking to you about the last part of Unit 5, Part 1, talking about probability and odds and what the difference is between the two. Okay, so we start with probability. Probability is often written as P, and then in parentheses, something. Okay, so the probability of your success of whatever the event is. Okay, so you are looking at a probability, and the probability usually is going to be a fraction, and it is basically what you want to have happen over everything that could happen. Okay, so it's going to be somewhere between 0 and 1, with 0 being 0 basically saying never going to happen, so 0% never going to happen, and 100%, which is it's a certainty. Okay, there's no way that you are going to it's inevitable, it's going to happen. And then usually right in the middle is going to be 50% or 50-50, and that's going to be an equal likelihood of yes or no. But it's somewhere, all probabilities are going to be somewhere in between there. They're going to be represented usually as a fraction. And I can also manipulate that into a decimal. So if a bag contains four blue, 3 green, and 6 red marbles, suppose you reach in the bag and draw one marble, find the probability that one marble is green. So my total marbles is 13, with 3 of them being green. Okay, so if I have 3 green, that is probability, what I want over all of my possibilities. So the probability of a green is 3 green out of 13, which is just going to be 0.231, 23.1%, or as a fraction, it would be that. Okay, suppose you put that green marble back in. Okay, so we're back to 13 marbles. You reach into the bag again and draw one marble. Find the probability that one marble was not red. Okay, so not red. So that means I can have blue or I can have green. All right, so not red, okay, which usually means not red, is going to be 7 over 13, which is just 0.538. Okay? All right, so what is the probability of selecting 2 vowels from the word algebra? So if I look, algebra has got 7 letters, all right? And of those letters, 3 of them are vowels. Okay, so the probability of drawing, or basically, yeah, it's like if I put the letters in, like if I took the letters ALGEBRA, like from Scrabble, and put them into a bag, and I drew 2 with the letters, what's the probability I'm going to get 2 vowels? So the way that works is, this is not replacing. This is taking out one letter and then taking out a second letter. So this is going to be basically 3 choose 2 out of 7 choose 2. Okay, where did I get those? The 3 choose 2 represents the vowels, and the 7 choose 2 represents the total. Okay, so out of 7 letters, choose 2. There's 21 different ways I can do that if it doesn't matter which is which. So that simplifies to 1 over 7, or 0.143. So about 14.3% of the time you can expect to get 2 vowels. Okay, Julie has her collection of 32 albums on her iPad. She's going on a road trip. She's randomly choosing 6 albums to make a new playlist. How many different ways can she select 3 R&B and 3 rap? So she's got all these possibilities up there. 18 R&B, 14 rap. So she is trying to figure out what are my possibilities, okay? So the way this is going to go is for the 3 R&B, that's going to be 18, choose 3. And it's going to be combination because it doesn't matter if I get picked first, second, or third, I'm still getting picked. So that's going to be that. Then 14, choose 3 for the rap. And all that is going to be over 32, choose 6. Okay, 32, choose 6. So when I do that, that gets 816. That gets 364 all over 906,192. So I multiply all that, simplify my answer, I get 2697 as a decimal, 0.3278. So about 32.78% of the time. Okay, Julie has now selected 6 albums, three are R&B, 3 rap. If she randomly selects an album to be played, and each album is each likely to be selected, like she's just reaching in the back and pulling out an album, what's the probability that she will play a Michael Jackson R&B album and an Eminem rap album as her first 2 albums? So now be careful with the wording here. Okay, and what this is saying is that Michael Jackson and Eminem have to be the first 2. Okay, it could be Michael Jackson, then Eminem, or it could be Eminem, then Michael Jackson. Okay, so for the first 2 albums, I've got 2 choices. It can be Michael Jackson or Eminem. Then the second one's got to be the other one. And then the order of the other 4 don't really matter. All right, so that's going to be 2 times 1 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And that is going to be all over 6 choose 6. Okay, 6P6, because the order does in fact matter. Okay, the order does in fact matter. So what happens when I do that is I get 48 out of 720, which simplifies to 1/15, or 0.06, or 6%. So the probability of picking Michael Jackson or Eminem first and then the other one second is going to be about 6%. Okay, board game consists of tiles with letters on one side, much like Scrabble. There's 56 consonants, 42 vowels. You must choose 7 tiles at the beginning of the game. What's the probability that you're going to get 4 consonants and 3 vowels? So you're going to get 56 consonants. You're choosing 4. Doesn't matter the order in which you receive them. 42 vowels. You're choosing 3. All is over 98. Choose 7. Okay, because there's 98 total tiles, and you're picking 7 of them. So you're going to get 36,729 plus 11,000, or times 11,480, all over, this is a really big number, 1,383,441,3150. So when you do all that and you divide it, you get 0.305, 0.305. So about 30.5% of the time you can expect 4 vowels and 4 consonants and 3 vowels. My mistake, excuse me. Okay, so now Alyssa signed up for English, Pre-Calc, Spanish, Geo, and Chemistry. The class schedules are assigned randomly, and each class is equally likely to be at any time of day. What is the probability that the first 2 classes will be Pre-Calc and Chemistry? So now I can go Pre-Calc, Chem, or I can go Chem, Pre-Calc. Okay, so I don't have a whole lot of choices there. So kind of my order becomes this. So my order for the first 2, I've only got 2 choices, either Pre-Calc or Chem. Then the other one's got to be second. Then I've got 3 classes left, okay? So the 3 times 2 times 1 kind of accounts for all those possible combinations. And all of that is over 5 choose 5, which is going to be 120. So that's going to be about 1/10, so it's going to be about 10% possibility of that happening. Okay. There's different types of probability. Where we spend most of our time is in theoretical probability. Theoretical probability is what happens based on mathematical likelihood, okay? What happens, if I flip a coin 10 times, theoretically I should get 5 heads, 5 tails if it's a fair coin. Rolling a dice, I should get an equal likelihood of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Experimental probability is like if I actually did it, what happened, okay? So if I flip a coin 10 times, I can get heads 8 times and tails 2 times. I have to get 2 because that has to add up to 10. So I can get 8 heads and tails 2, But the theory is the more experimental I do, the closer I get to theoretical, okay? So yeah, if I flip a coin 10 times, I might get heads 8 times and tails 2 times. If I go another 10 times and then another 10 times, another 10 times, I can start to expect that my probability is going to be 50-50, or my numbers are going to be 50-50 between heads and tails. All right, so hand of 4 cards is dealt from a standard deck of cards. What's the probability that all 4 cards are hearts? There's a theoretical experimental. We're trying to figure out a probability, so it's going to be theoretical, okay? We don't know, like we didn't actually get dealt cards and see if we got 4 cards from hearts, okay? That's not what happened. So the probability of getting hearts, there's 13 hearts and we're getting 4 of them in no particular order. Then we're taking 4 cards out of 52. So out of 52, choose 4 cards. You have 270,725. And then that's going to be 0.0026. So 0.26%, which is not 26%. That's 0.26%. That's pretty rare. Okay? That's pretty rare. If I got any problem anywhere. Nope. All right. All right, odds are another way, well, hold on. Odds are another way to state the likelihood of an event, okay? Biggest difference here is odds in favor, odds against. The fraction looks a little different, okay? For odds in favor, you still have favorable on top, but now instead of everything, you've got just the unfavorable on the bottom. And then odds against is going to be unfavorable on top, favorable on the bottom. So 4 in favor means favor on top, against means favor on the bottom. So if we have an ice skating competition, the order in which competitors perform is determined by random drawing. What is the probability that these skaters will perform in alphabetical order? Well, there's only one way that that's going to happen. Okay, there's only one order that is in alphabetical order, and that is going to be out of 5, choose 5. Okay, another way to think about that is, well, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's going to be 1 out of 120. That's your probability. The odds in favor is going to be 1 to 119. Okay, so this is odds in favor and odds against. And then the odds against is just going to be 119 to 1. Okay, so now same kind of scenario. The order in which was the probability that they will not go in alphabetical order. Well, that would be 119 out of 120, because there's only one way they go in alphabetical order. So I'm going to flip that around, which would be 99.7%. So what's the probability? So suppose we have the probability of an event. This has nothing to do with the problem above it. 24 event, what are the odds in favor or against? Well, 24% is the same thing as 24 out of 100. 100 minus 24 is 76. So the odds in favor would be 24 to 76. Or 6 to 19. The odds against are going to be 19 to 6, or 76 to 24. Okay, so when you're talking about odds, you're not talking about a full probability. You're talking about good to bad, or what you want to what you don't want. That's the big difference. Okay. Good luck with the problems. Make sure you use your calculator for the big numbers, and then come talk to me with questions.